So we're just gonna pull that up so you can see what it looks like. So it says, Yonati b'chagvei hasela, O my dove in the crevice of the rock, concealed by the mountain's face, show me your countenance, let me hear your voice. And that let me hear your voice is so beautiful for Shabbat, for us all to be able to sing together. And unfortunately, I can't hear your voices, but you can hear your voice at home. And soon, coming to a shul near you, well, hopefully we'll hear my voice more. Still not sure about all of us singing together. But let me hear your voice, for your voice is pleasant and your countenance charming. So there's a little melody at the beginning, and it goes like this. Let's try that. Let's try one more time. Jody, I can see that you're right with me. We're going to try singing that again and a little bit higher. And then we sing it again. Yonati bechagvei hasela beseter hamadrega harini et maraich hashmini et kolech ki kolech arev umarich naveh. So what's really mostly tricky about this is the words. Let's try saying them together. Yonati, repeat after me. Yonati, bechagvei hasela. So the little dove in the corner of the rock. Beseter hamadrega. Beseter hamadrega, right? So you're hidden by the mountain's face. Harini et maraich. Harini et maraich. Hashmiini et kolech. Let me hear your voice. Ki kolech arev. Let's try saying that. Ki kolech arev. Umarech naveh. Umarech naveh. So again, the verse is Yonati bechagvei hasela beseter hamadrega harini et maraich hashmini et kolech ki kolech arev umarich naveh hashmini et kolech ki kolech arev umarich naveh. And then we say hashmini again. Ki kolei charev umareich nave. Okay, raise your hand if you think you got that. Maybe a little bit. Maybe next time around, right? Because we're going to be singing it in just a little bit. All right. Well, that was sort of our warm up to the warm up. And now we are going to hear some lovely pieces from Marilyn by Sibelius.
It's been a beautiful spring, and I've been working on 5 pieces that Sibelius wrote about trees. And I'm going to play 3 of them. The first one is called When the Mountain Ash Blooms. The second one is the solitary fir tree. And the third is the spruce. So hope you enjoy.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. That was beautiful. Really lovely pictures of spring and lovely way to come into Shabbat. We are so, so thankful. Really, truly beautiful. Thank you so, so much. So we are now transitioning into Shabbat music and liturgy, and we are going to sing Yadid Nefesh, which I don't know if we've sung it yet while I've been here, but I don't know. Lately, I've sort of gotten more into Shabbat table songs and sort of songs around Shabbat. So that's where we're at a little bit more this whole Shabbat evening. Yedid nefesh avarachaman, Yedid nefesh avarachaman, meshoch avdecha eretz olecha, yailai meshoch avdecha, yarai yarai eretz olecha. Yarut avdecha kemoyam, yishtachavei lai yararei lai el adarecha. Yedid nefesh avarachaman, Yedid nefesh avarachaman, meshoch avdecha eretz olecha, meshoch avdecha yararei eretz olecha. Yarut avdecha kemoyam, yishtachavei yararei emul adarecha. Yishtachavei yararei emul adarecha.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Written 880 years ago. My heart is in the east, and I in the uttermost west. How can I find savor in food? How shall it be sweet to me? How shall I render my vows and my bonds, while yet Zion lieth beneath the fetter of Edom? Yud HaLevi's words from his home in Spain connect to our words tonight. Our heart is with Israel and the people of Israel, looking for strength and hope. Throughout tonight's service, we'll be sharing songs, readings, and prayers that connect us with Israel, how much we feel in our hearts from this long distance. Our heart is in the east, but we are in the uttermost west. Tonight, we also have celebrations too. There's always celebrations at Shabbat. Just being together as a community is a wonderful celebration. But tonight, we're especially excited to celebrate with our Women's Connection as they recognize their new board for the coming year and thank those who've been part of the board in the last year and all the members of Women's Connection who join us on our Zoom tonight. And leading us off with lighting our Sabbath candles tonight is going to be Shelley Radbell. So Shelley, make sure to unmute yourself.
It's not letting me. There we go.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you, Shelley.
Amen.
And now we turn to our Kiddush, our prayer of sanctity and joy and wholeness as we lift up our Kiddush cups and join together as Cantor leads us in this special prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinkilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tefillah l'mikra'ei kodesh Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu Vacharta Veotanu Kidashta Mikol Hamim Veshabbat Kodshecha Be'ahava Uvratzon Hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh Hashabbat, L'chaim, L'chaim. So we were just learning this song earlier before Marilyn played, Yonati B'chagvei Hasela, from Song of Songs. It's a love song. O my dove, in the crevice of the rock, show me your countenance. Let me hear your voice. I wish I could hear all of your voices, and I hope you all will sing along at home. Yonati b'chagvei hasela v'seiter hamadrega harini et kolech hashmini et kolech ki kolech harev u'marech nave Hashmini et kolech ki kolech harev u'marech nave Hashmini et kolech ki kolech harev u'marech nave Yonati b'chagvei hasela v'seiter hamadrega harini et maraich hashmini et kolech ki kolech harev u'marech nave
Now we have an opportunity to say hello to each other. It's not quite the same over Zoom as much as we try. So I'm looking forward as we start to come back into the sanctuary and we say hello in person, you have a better chance of picking who you want to say hello to if it's in the sanctuary. Here, we just randomly assign it and you never know who you're going to get. And then you send me emails. How come I was with so-and-so for 3 weeks in a row? It's random. So we're going to break into breakout rooms now and get a chance to say hello to old friends and meet some new ones. And hello to everybody watching us on YouTube. We're glad to have you with us. I can't quite be in the breakout rooms, but we're glad you're here, and we'll be back continuing the service in just a few moments. Welcome back, everyone. So as a chance, we get hello to say to our friend Karen Eisenstadt. Karen, how you doing? Shabbat shalom.
Hi, Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
Doing okay? Doing better with the weather getting nicer?
It's great.
Good.
It's always good to meet everybody.
We're going to have you and Julia back in the sanctuary really soon.
That's what we hope.
Well, now as we welcomed each other, we welcome the Sabbath bride with Lecha Dodi, verses 1, 2, and 9.
Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ay ay ay. Ya la 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 likrat kalai, ay 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 ay. La 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad ishmi'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad v'shemo tiferet v'litila yai rai 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 ya la 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 lecha dodi yai rai ya la 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 likar kalai yai rai la 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 b'nei Shabbat nikabela לקראת שבת מכוון אלך כי מקום מעשה במחשבה תחילה יאי רי רי יאי יאי רי רי יאללה לה לה לי לך דודי יאי רי רי יאללה לה לה לי לקראת כלה יאי רי 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 יאללה לה לה לי בני שבת תקבלה בואי בשלום עטרת בלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה יאי רי רי יאללה לה לה לי לך דודי יאי רי רי יאללה לה לה לי לקראת כלה יאי רי 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 יאללה לה לה לי בני שבת תקבלה יאללה לה לה לי לך דודי יאי רי רי יאללה לה לה לי לקראת כלה יאי לי 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 יאללה לה לה לי בני שבת תקבלה
We rise in body or in spirit for the call to worship.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד
O peace, you fleeting dream. O justice, you fickle hope. Today we do not pray in your name. Today we pray in the name of the children who have never met you, who have not been blessed with your love or your truth. Surely their cries must someday drive you out of hiding, summoning you to cast your healing upon all the earth. O God, ancient and merciful, justice and peace are yours. Halt their retreat from the world and send them to us for good. Do it for the sake of your name. Do it for the sake of your right hand. Do it for the sake of your holiness. Do it for the sake of your children, so that all may live in the fullness of your gifts as one family on earth under your canopy of love.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המריב ערבים אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשכבנו וקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו אהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod. Shem Kevod. Malchuto. Leolam. Leolam vaed.
Please be seated. Join me from your homes together. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha v'aderech ushachbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, norat ilot, o seifele, norat ilot, o seifele. Malchut Farov Alecha, Bokei Lifnei Moshe uMiriam, Zeili, Zeili, Anu v'yameru, Adonai imloch leolam vaed, Adonai imloch leolam vaed, Adonai imloch leolam vaed, leolam, leolam, leolam vaed. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, Ga'al Yisrael. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We continue with the Tefillah, the central prayers of our service, and we invite you to rise in body or in spirit.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'kolei Hakol V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'lehem Leman Shemo Be'ava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך. מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Together, you are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. When peace comes, a meditation. O you children of Abraham, you sons and daughters of Sarah and Hagar, what will you become? How long before shalom and salam echo in these hills, in these valleys and on these shores, as shouts of awe and amazement? How long before we remember to hold each other dear? O God, maker of all, banish war from our midst. Speedily bring forth justice, understanding, and love. Bind these wounds and heal our hearts. On that day, the children of Ishmael and the children of Isaac will dance as one. Joy will rise to heaven, and gladness will fill the earth.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Ki Ata Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom Ki Ata Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Etov Beinecha Levarech Et Amcha Yisrael Bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם.
We continue with our own private prayers. From Psalm 122. Sha'alu shalom Yerushalayim, Yishlayu ohovayach. Pray for the well-being of Jerusalem. May those who love you be at peace. May there be well-being within your ramparts, peace in your citadels. For the sake of my kin and friends, I pray for your well-being. For the sake of the house of Adonai our God, I seek your good.
שמחתי באומרים לי, בית אדוני נלך, עומדות היו רגלינו, בשערייך ירושלים, ירושלים הבנויה. כעיר שחוברה לה יחדיו, ובנים שבטיה לעדות, לעדות לישראל, להודות לשם אדוני. Shalu shalom Yerushalayim, Yishlayu ohavayich, Yehi shalom Limbalachai verei, anta braila shalom bach, liman bit Adonai Eloheinu, avaksha tov lach. Limalchai v'reai adabra shalom bach leman beit Adonai Eloheinu avaksha tov lach.
Our prayers reach out also to our family and friends all over the world. Those who are in pain, who are sick, who are mourning, or in loss. As we share some names from our own temple, we invite you to add names into our chat, recognizing all those who are in need of our strength. At RTFH, we're especially thinking of our members, Elaine Wall, Helen Schloss, Rochelle Weinberg, Ronnie Heller, Jamie Stern, Leah Stern, Joan Lipton, Arlene Green, Sadie Rosenkrantz, Elise Leibowitz, Roberta Traeger, Jody Ann Herman. We also are thinking of Hechazan Chaim Ruvain Ben Kremsa. We add to those names that are in our chat and in our hearts as we join together in a Mishaberach for healing. So if now is the moment in the service when you expected me to have some brilliant interpretation of the Middle East, understanding all sides and all tensions, recognizing the Jews and the Palestinians and the Israeli Arabs and the Netanyahu government and the Iranians and so on, don't get your hopes too high. Because I'm at a loss of what meaningful insight we can add to the political situation in Israel. I know that rockets are flying and people are dying and no one is pursuing peace. From my own time living in Israel, I know what terror these days can bring. You should seek out political analysis from the various websites and talking heads that claim to know it all. Tonight, I want to share a more personal reflection written by Rabbi Stacy Blank, the rabbi of the Reform congregation Kehilat Tzor Hadassah outside of Jerusalem. She wrote this a few days ago. Thanks to everyone who's reached out in the past 2 days, we are okay. But we, the Israelis and the Palestinians in this tiny land, are not okay. Monday was Jerusalem Day. I've enjoyed pluralistic activities over the past week, neighborhood tours and celebrations of Jerusalem culture. We pluralistic Jerusalemites start to get stomach pains as the actual day arrives and see the hordes of teenagers who generally identify as national religious fill the street. I was happy to hear about the successful efforts to prevent the nationalistic march from passing through the Damascus Gate, the main gate for the Palestinians, to the Muslim quarter. Throughout the week, I heard about the confrontations between Israeli police and the Muslims on the Temple Mount, the Dome of the Rock, as this coincided with the final days of Ramadan. I heard about the protests in Sheikh Jarrah about ejecting Palestinians from their homes for Jewish settlers. I admit I don't have an analysis of how these situations became so violent. I chose on Jerusalem Day to preserve the daily routine of my kids, so I did not participate in the distribution of flowers by Jews to Palestinians in the Old City and East Jerusalem. I picked up my kids from school, and then I returned with the 7-year-old to our first school event since Corona, which coincided with parent-teacher conferences. It was a joyous reunion. Then I took my son to the community center for judo. While he was inside, I started a Zoom call with a family from the US who hope to hold a bar mitzvah in Jerusalem next year. People were organizing a blood drive in the yard. Then the siren started. We all looked up at each other, hesitated, and then our instincts kicked in. I disconnected the conversation. I waited for my son to come out of the judo room. I took his hand, pushed through the people who were just standing there, and went down the stairs. I called to people to follow us downstairs. The bomb shelter was open and we all went inside. The kids asked, "Is this real?" They were too young to remember the summer of 2014. I felt my post-trauma kicking in. I couldn't make phone calls, but texts went through. I texted my husband to get in touch with our other kids. My daughter was still at a basketball game at the YMCA. My son was biking home and was in the middle of the street with no building access. But my husband spoke to him and told him what he needed to do if in such a situation again. We acknowledged how scary it was. After the 10 minutes passed, my son returned to judo. We go on. Afterwards, we spoke about it. Why were people sending rockets? There have been wars in the past. Some people want to make peace and work to live together. Some people want to continue the war, and this is what they do. Our country knows how to protect itself and us, and we all do our part to help each other to be safe. Then the rockets started to hit Israel near Gaza. Yesterday in the afternoon, I was informed of an incident at my children's school of students who sang racist songs against Arabs, drew Palestinian flags, and ripped them up. My daughter and other children told them that they opposed these racist acts and to stop. The pupils called them names that I won't write here. My daughter informed the teacher who spoke with them. Last night, Tel Aviv and the entire center of Israel was bombarded. All my social networks were filled with pictures and messages. The older people were calm. The young people in their 20s expressed fear and anxiety, almost desperation. The news of Israeli bombardment of Gaza was equally distressing. How much more destruction? How many more lives lost? How much more disruption and trauma? I hear the leaders on both sides. We are stronger. You will feel our heavy hand. We will show you. Last night was my weekly bike ride with a group of women that is called Riding for Our Sanity, starting during the Corona lockdowns. I asked that we make our route go by downtown Jerusalem to join a protest against the escalation in violence. There was a small but spirited group of about 150 to 200 people making its way down Jaffa Street to Zion Square with drums and signs shouting, "Enough occupation," and "Jews and Arabs want to live in coexistence." Someone gave me a sign that I put on my bicycle basket. A minute later, I felt someone reach in my basket and saw a young man take the sign and tear it up. There were only a few young people standing on the outskirts opposing the protesters, shouting epithets and threats. There was a firm, protective police presence. There was not an Arab in sight, not on the street, not on the tram that passed by. In fact, the streets were generally pretty empty. At home, my husband was anxious. "It's much worse," he lamented. "The Arabs are rioting in Lod. We are being told it is dangerous for Jews to enter Arab towns in the north. There is no hope for coexistence." It was terrible and scary, I agreed. But I said these could be small groups. These could be young people. It's not all the Arabs. This morning, I got up early to play tennis. My husband said that the father and daughter who were killed by a Hamas rocket were Arabs from Lod. On the way, I listened to the radio. An Arab police officer from Lod was being interviewed. He explained that the riots were groups of young people. He shared that they were trying to calm things down and the police can't be everywhere. He said that all the sides need to take part in calming things down. He called on the elders of the community to go out and help stop the violence, to be personal examples. And then came on the radio the principal of the Ort High School in Lod, in which this Arab-Israeli teenager, Nadine Awad, was killed alongside her father by Hamas rockets. She was in the 10th grade. She spoke in perfect Hebrew. The principal described her as a young woman, proud of her Islamic background and seeking to help people connect with its exalted principles. The principal said, "Tonight is the holiday eve of Eid al-Fitr. There is no holiday for us." She called on everyone to take responsibility. She said, "We have no other land. We have no other city. We have to make sure there is a future for our children." Then my tears began to flow. Then the sobs came. I was barely able to drive. For a week, I am seeing and reading about escalating tensions in Jerusalem and throughout Israel and the Palestinian territories. Today was the first day I heard someone speak about collective responsibility. We are all responsible. I said the same after the disaster at Mount Meron on Lag BaOmer. We must not point fingers. We must all take responsibility. Each of us has a part in this. The rabbi concludes her reflection. Men, we are sick of your war games. Samson and the Philistines got thousands of people killed because they traded back and forth like they did to me, I do to them. Start listening to the women. We are all responsible. We pause for our own personal prayers towards peace and hope. We turn to joy as well. Our Women's Connection is the backbone of our synagogue, creating programs, volunteering, fundraising, providing a lifeline to so many people to learn, to share, to connect, to love, to laugh. And so tonight we celebrate our Women's Connection and the board that makes them up. We start by recognizing Pauline Kurtzman. Pauline is stepping down from her named leadership role in Women's Connection, but never from giving people advice. And so we give our thank you to Pauline for her years of service as Women's Connection board member, advisor, and official whisperer. And we celebrate Shelley Radbell for her service as Women's Connection Vice President of Communications. Shelley is not going very far. She's continuing to serve in leadership in the Women's Connection, and we thank her for her wisdom and love that she shows to our community so often. We thank all of the outgoing board members, Lillian Alexander, Linda Freitag, Mildred Friedman, Kathy Francos, Jody Herman, and Susan Kane, all of them for their incredible work and commitment. But as you know, stepping down from Women's Connection board just means somebody's going to put you in charge of some committee. So be prepared for that, because you have all the time in the world. You're not a board member now, so you can certainly do it. So we look forward to the wisdom and work that each of you will do. And now we recognize our incoming board. Give us a second. We're going to spotlight them. So we welcome the Women's Connection leadership for 2021 to 2022, starting with the Executive Committee, Co-presidents, Margie Blackman and Jane Pinkett. Vice President of Membership, Audrey Frankel. Treasurer, Susan Greenberg. Vice President of Communications, Carrie Spezza. And advisors, Kathy Francos and Lois Silverman. And the other board members of this year, Arlene Green, Marcy Keltai, Emily Marino, Phyllis Rosenberg, Mickey Josephs, Cheryl Kimmler, Shelley Radbell, Suzanne Rosenberg, and Rochelle Weinberg. We are so honored to have you all as our leaders in Women's Connection, and we look forward to all the blessings you'll give our community. We want to share a blessing for this moment. It's a blessing we share at many special times, and this is one of those that we recognize the joy of this moment and this time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God. You gave us this world to be part of, and help us every day to discover new things, new blessings from all of us. May you help us find the blessings in our hearts to share to others, and know that we are making the world a better place as we give to each other, as we give and share, and bring us towards the blessings of peace. Amen. We're going to hear now from our co-presidents.
Good evening, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. There's a few people I want to thank during this, what has been a rather past unpredictable year. Pauline, you might be stepping down officially as an advisor, but you know that your thoughts are always well taken and will always continue to be. Shelley, thank you for all your work this year in a virtual world. And please keep those great programming ideas coming continuously. I am thrilled to work with such a great WOCO executive board who really is completely invaluable. Kerry, welcome to the executive team. We look forward to working together as the year goes on. I want to thank Rabbi, Cantor, Neil, and the Temple Executive Board for all your guidance and assistance on so many levels. And lastly, I could not have done and navigated this year without Marjorie. Your organization, creativity, and enthusiasm are incredible. And I am looking forward to another great year. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jane. A huge thank you to Rabbi Cantor Emily and the Board of Trustees, and to the Temple as a whole for all of your support that you've given to Women's Connection is, as Jane said, this very unusual year. Personally, I want to say a huge thank you to Jane, my wonderful co-president, who shares all the responsibilities that we have equally and puts her fantastic spin on everything she does. So thank you, Jane. I really appreciate you. And of course, I want to also call out a fabulous executive committee who's worked tirelessly in the background to make sure this year has been as good as it could be under the circumstances. Pauline, you've been a friend and a confidant for years. We are indebted to you for all your wise words of advice and counsel, and also to all the Women's Connection presidents before us that you've helped. We look forward to many informal calls. Eventually, we're going to come and visit you. We promised that a year and a half ago, and we actually will get there one day. We love your insightful ideas. We love your thoughts of what we could do better. So please keep them coming. Shelley, we want to thank you for your year of service on the executive committee as VP of Communications. We really look forward to all of your continued service on the local board, and also on the program committee and other committees where you provide such great ideas and creative flair. For those of you who were just mentioned by Rabbi and are stepping down from the board, thank you. Please remember, similar to what Rabbi said, you aren't going very far. We know how to reach you, even if it's only on the phone or Zoom. And there is always a place for you on a committee, a planning team, etc. We treasure your friendship, each and every one of you, and all your continued involvements in the years to come. We welcome Kerry to the Executive Committee as our new VP of Communications and look forward to her fresh ideas for our new year of programs and connections. And then we can't forget about Kathy and Lois, who've been there for years and years in sisterhood, in the temple and in WOCO, and are now our formal advisors of the Executive Committee. We look forward to all of the history you bring to us and so many good ideas for our team. Thank you so much to all of our members. We look forward to sharing with you and participating with you in lots and lots of stuff going forward. So thank you, and we're really appreciative of everybody on this call and in the temple.
Thank you to Marjorie and Jane. You led us, and WOCO has led us in such a challenging year, but you always lead us in every year, and we're so honored to have you as our WOCO leadership. We have other good things. In addition to WOCO new board, we have lots of Simchas. So if you have a Simcha going on in your life, please put it into the chat so that we all can see what's going on in our community and draw strength from each other. Anyone with a good thing going on in their life, put it into the chat. We got birthdays and family coming home. Got out and doing things with people and visits with people that we haven't seen in a long time. Those hugs are so sweet. Now they're coming in fast and furious. I like it. Connecting with people, doing lots of things. Got lots of Simchas this weekend at Temple. Lots of Mother's Day special events. I know it was a pleasure on Thursday to see how many Temple families posted pictures or posts about their 12 to 15-year-old being among the very first to get the vaccine, and how many more are on the way. We're looking so forward to more and more Temple members and all of our friends and family being vaccinated so we can continue to do more and more things with each other in person. It's great to see all these things happening among our Temple community and make more to come. We move now to our concluding blessings of the service, beginning with the Aleinu, and we invite you to rise in either body or spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We think now of people we miss so very much, family and friends who have passed from this earth and body, but whose love and light still always fills our hearts. As we share names from our temple's list, we invite you to add into our chat names of people you're thinking about particularly at this time. This week marks the yard site, the anniversary of the passing of Hattie Altman, Sela Berger, Rosalie Bergerman, Samuel Bookstaver, Clara S. Dollinger, Max Ennis, Alma Foyer, Bernard Friedman, Simon Fridland, Hilda Fried, Albert Fromm, Fanny Glazer, Mitchell Gold, Leah Goldstein, Herbert Halpern, David Kane, Aaron Karasik, Judah Case, Michael Kozlowitz, Mel Leffert, Manuel Lemsidor, Hortense Libman, Rose Mirabal, Johanna Newman, Emmanuel Nicole, Hedwig Noah, Hilda Oppenheimer, Edward Priest, Frida Roos, Matilda Sapat, Gertrude Sears, Samuel Sidney Sezin, Esther Schillett, Katie Skloot, Franklin Sluitt, Leon Snyder, Julia Sobel, Ida Stitch, Renee Strauss, Sydney Tanner, Julius Teitler, Harold Tershwell, Dina Varnos, David Veriano, Anna Vexler, Morris Warrenoff, Leslie Wolfson Weinberg, Lillian Weiss, Selma Wilner, Paul Frederick Wollner, Claire Wolken, Heinrich Zahler, Lily J. Zaro. We share in sadness for the recent passing of Hansi Kartak, brother of Karl Schlage, brother-in-law of Tony Schlage, who passed away suddenly just today. And the recent passings of Heriberto Lefty Yanis, uncle of Alvin Callow, Dora Blatt, mother of Carol Blatt. We add to the names that fill our chat, names that are with us at all times, any day, any week, any year. We hold them close to our hearts. And we join together now in our prayer of community, of reflection, and of memory, the Mourner's Kaddish. We invite you to unmute yourself and join us in reading the Kaddish. And I'll start it off so that we know when to all begin together. Please rise. Sue, can you change it to fit wide because it's a little tiny? Okay. Here we go. Yit Gadal.
Amen.
May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every broken heart among us. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Shalom. Aleinu velkol Israel ve'imneru. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Now with some special announcements of the many wonderful things that are coming up at our temple, our Vice President, Sue Eisman.
Hi, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. I want to start off by thanking Rabbi and Cantor again for a wonderful service and for more than a year of wonderful services with all of us in our separate Zoom boxes. And thank you to the Zoom team that's always working behind the scenes to make all the boxes work. Congratulations to all my friends in the WOCO board. What a wonderful service this was. And congratulations this week. We also had the election of a new TAFE board. So lots of exciting things going on. And congratulations to our confirmation class who will be confirmed on Sunday evening. I was looking at the list of who's in the confirmation class, and I think it has to be wrong because these are all still little kids that I have been following around the sanctuary for a few years, but now they've grown into wonderful young adults. We have some really wonderful things coming up in the next month or so, a very busy time of year. Sunday is Shavuot and our confirmation. Monday morning, there'll be a 10:30 Shavuot morning service. May 21st is our graduation and our installation of the toffee board that was elected this week. May 22nd, we're having something new for us. We're having a comedy night. We have 2 wonderful comics coming. It should be a really fun time. The comedy night is underwritten by some generous members of the congregation, but we are asking for a suggested donation per screen to help defray the cost of the comedians. And the rabbi put the link in the chat, and you can always go on the website to find the link to register for comedy night. May 26th is our congregational meeting. This is a very important time for you to hear all the things that the board is working on and to be able to elect incoming board and to approve the budget for the coming year. So I hope that you will attend and be able to participate in that. It's always an interesting day. And May 28th might be the most exciting day coming up. We are doing our first service where we are returning, at least partly returning to in-person services. We will have a limited number of people in the sanctuary in a live service, and then everybody else will be able to watch on YouTube, on Zoom, as a hybrid service. And again, the link is in the chat, or you can go to the website, the temple website, to see how to sign up for that. In order to come to the in-person of the hybrid service, you need to be vaccinated and be a regular member of the temple. So if that fits you and your family, then please sign up and come back in person. And then coming up in June, we have our annual pet blessing on June 4th. And then June 11th is our Pride Shabbat, which has now become a really wonderful annual part of our service circle. And I hope to see all of you there. And then I'm going to share a song lyric because I know that's important to Neil, that we learn rock and roll lyrics as we move through the year. So this week I was thinking about summer because summer is coming and I'm vaccinated and now I can travel places. So this is a song by a young man called George Ezra. And he says, there's a mountaintop that I'm dreaming of. If you need me, you know where I'll be. I'll be riding shotgun underneath the hot sun, feeling like a someone. So that's my theme song for summer 2021, is Somewhere in the Hot Sun. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Have a great week.
Thank you, Sue. Just a reminder about the hybrid services. We are hopefully moving more and more to having people back in the sanctuary. While we will always have some form of live stream so that people can join us from near and far, it will probably one day not be Zoom. So I know you spent so long learning how to use Zoom, and we'll still be using Zoom for other things, but we're moving towards other technology to do our live streaming from the sanctuary, and we hope you'll come. Please sign up for the hybrid service if you're interested in coming. Don't make assumptions about other people and their needs, and you'll wait. Just sign up. It's okay. We want you there, and we want to fill our number of seats that we have for that week. There'll be other hybrid services later on. This is our first experiment, and then we'll have continued ones later in the summer once we analyze this one, so we know how to make it the safest and best for everybody, both people in the sanctuary and people joining us online. Well, we're at the end of services, and that's a wonderful thing. And that means people have snacks all ready to go in their houses. We want to take a minute to take a look if you have challah in your house, so we can share it with people and enjoy your challah remotely. So hold up your challah if you got one, and we'll try and catch everybody who has one. All right, well, good for the challahs we got, and sorry if we missed anybody. If you want to unmute yourself to join in the motzi together with all of us, please feel free, and I'll count it off, and we'll join together as one group in sharing our prayer together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Baruch
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, amos lechem
Te'avon, everyone. And now for our closing song this evening, Cantor, why don't you introduce us one that I know caught your attention for this Shabbat?
Sure. So our closing song is Yom Zeli Yisrael, which initially I was thinking of because its first verse talks about standing at Sinai, and we are just about to
I can't see it.
stand at Sinai again on Sunday for Shavuot. So, and it says, you bade us standing assembled at Mount Sinai that all the year through we would keep Shabbat and the festivals, to set out a full table to honor the Shabbat of rest. But then I thought that I think from all of us, our hearts are with our friends in Israel and with the country of Israel and with all the people striving, wishing, hoping for peace. And we're wishing them
9:07 p.m. 81 degrees Fahrenheit.
And we're wishing them a Shabbat of peace, which
Cantor,
perhaps for all of us.
I'm going to hit mute all, and then you unmute yourself again.
What?
We're wishing for all of us a Shabbat of peace and calm and tranquility, even for a moment, even for a second. So this is Yom Zeli Yisrael, and you can join in on Lala. The melody is really beautiful and easy to pick up. Sometimes the words are a little tricky, and that's why Lala does just fine. Yom Zeli Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha. Yom Zeli Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Tzivita pikudim b'mamad har Sinai, Shabbat u'modim lishmor b'chol shalai, Laroch lefanai ma'aseh dvarucha, Shabbat menucha, Shabbat menucha, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. קידשת ברכת אותו מכל ימים, בששת כלית מלאכת עולמים, ומצאו הגומים השקט ובטחה, שבת, שבת מנוחה. שבת, שבת מנוחה. Yom Zeli Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Ora v'simcha, Shabbat menucha. Yom Zeli Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Shabbat, Shabbat menucha.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Pray for peace in Israel.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
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 See you tomorrow morning, Scotty.
See you tomorrow.
Shalom.
Shalom, Jody. Shalom.
Hi, Donna. Hi, Diane.
Hey, sweetheart. Have a good week.
You too.
Take care, Diane.
Okay, welcome to Women Connection.